Namaskar. I'm Ashok Vyas. Welcome to Vision of Asia, Voice of Community. This is our weekly edition, and this edition will begin with our weekly segment this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parekh, a report on Asian American Excellence Award ceremony and Asian Indian Chamber of Commerce organized an in-person networking event. Vishwa Umiya Dham Foundation is ready to build Umiya Dham in Ahmedabad. Excerpts from conversation with Rick Mehta, who is running for election to the US House to represent New Jersey's 6th congressional district. He was also joined with Sam Rawal, who is a candidate running for Middlesex County Commissioner. And also part of my conversation with Anup Bhargav, founder of Hindi Se Pyar Hai. All this coming up right after these short messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Vision of Asia was a community on ITV Gold, and it is always important to look at what is happening in our world and try to go deep with analysis. And that analytical look comes to us every week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parekh in the program this week. And now, time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, chairman of ITV Gold and Parekh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week. Namaste, Dr. Saab. Welcome.
Namaskar, namaskar.
So, Dr. Saab, how it makes you feel after the successful completion of 8 years of Prime Minister Modi's leadership, leading India and taking it to greater heights?
I think I personally am very proud of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first 8 years of Prime Ministership, because in one sentence I can say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the best thing happened to India as a Prime Minister, because he is very visionary, he has very decisive quality of the administration, and he implemented, or he knows how to implement whatever the good for people in different field, whether it's a finance, it's a subsidiary, or if it is economy, inviting the investors, foreign investors in India, making private like a private company, I mean a public company like Air India to the private, and catch hold of and reduce minimizing the overall corruption in India. So I think he is one of the best Prime Minister, at least in my opinion, and obviously it's in the history of India.
Absolutely. And Dr. you must be also aware, as many of us away from India used to feel after the visit of our Prime Minister, there was no interaction between the NRI community and the Prime Minister in general. It was, but now he has brought additional interest and inspired NRIs in different countries, and they are taking more active interest in India's growth.
Yes, of course. Prime Minister Modi has really galvanized and rekindled connection between the NRIs and non-resident Indians and the Mother India, because I think his vision is very clear that if you connect emotionally and intellectually our NRIs to Mother India, then it's a win-win situation, because all the NRIs will feel good about it, and Mother India will get maximum benefit out of it.
Yeah. And just looking at, if I use my way of expressing it, his openness in sharing the secret which helps him sustain his momentum in spite of a lot of criticism. Probably the practice of yoga has helped him, and he is the man behind popularizing it in the whole world, and we are on the threshold of June beginning, so we'll be celebrating International Day of Yoga. Talk to me about the significance of yoga for modern mind.
Well, I mean, yoga is, as you know, that it's a gift of the India to the world for many, many years, right? Thousands of years. And yoga is known in India for a long, long time. but it was not that popular in outside India or in the Western countries. And its benefits, its advantage, its therapy value, and all those things. And in the West, a lot of Westerner so-called yoga teacher, they were almost hijacked the yoga, quote-unquote yoga brand. And I think what Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi did is in 2014 or 15, he declared the International Yoga Day in United Nations. And that made yoga a worldwide thing. And they established the day. Always, whenever there is a good initiative, you have to pick the day and celebrate that day year after year. Then it becomes permanent in the people's mind and people follow. And obviously, yoga has a lot of advantage. And one of the advantage, who does yoga, like you or like me or like any other people, or even Prime Minister, they make them very determined, very driven, very visionary, and very transparent. And that's what those qualities even Prime Minister Modi has, and that's why people like him.
Absolutely. I agree with you. It is always palpably sort of, one can feel even through visuals that people are so happy having him in their presence, as well as world leaders seems to find him someone who they can look up to. And that is visible in their body language. So
Right.
we are proud on that. And good news that has come with 8 years of completion of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the growth, economic. So India's GDP is growing at 8.7%. How that makes you feel? The news coming kind of 8 years and this 8.7%.
Well, it's a great news. 8% GDP after pandemic is excellent number. And by having that, in India's economy from 2 trillion to become 5 trillion, which Prime Minister wants to be soon, before its kind of expected target date, which is 2030. So, and obviously, India is right now third largest economy in the world. And India has arrived in the world stage. And because of the largest economy, obviously largest democracy, and obviously largest youth in the country, I think India's value in the world stage has risen tremendously. And that's why we see all the time that world leaders always seeking Prime Minister's participation in the world forum and his decision and his advice.
Absolutely. And it is very rare to think about any leader who would connect with students, with players, and would encourage them. And in that context, I was also listening to interview by chairman of Ram Mandir Nirman Samiti, and he said that in all the meetings he takes keen interest, Prime Minister Modi, and he asked him, is there anything that is preventing you from completion of this project on the scheduled time? And so that's one side of him. And now looking at 1st June as an auspicious day when the foundation laying ceremony of the Garbhagriha of a temple is happening at Ayodhya, and Chief Minister Yogi ji is reaching there, and there is a lot of excitement, as well as there are multiple projects of development keeping this temple as the center in Ayodhya. So how that makes you feel?
Well, I think temple construction and temple schedule is going on time. And as you know that under our Parikhalwal media leadership, particularly my leadership, we collected water from the 12 different rivers in the tri-state area from the northeast, and we sent that water into the, then that water was kind of blessed by 6 temples, including the 6 Hindu temples, and then we sent it to the Mr. Vijay Jolly, who took it to the Ayodhya. And I think during this Sila thing, Sila ceremony, ceremony, that those water is going to be used as a part of the puja during that time. And I'm hoping that Ayodhya temple will be ready in 2024 or end of the 23, and it will become one of the greatest and site for tourists as well as all the Hindus for their astha, and we are looking forward to it.
And now moving towards a little bit worrisome side of life, where we find people one day they are not with us in physical form, and you being a physician as well as taking keen interest in the cultural aspect. So let me request you to share what you must have read this. Well-known singer KK was performing in Kolkata, and so he was 53, which we consider a younger age comparatively, and he had a heart attack. Now, the scene tells us that he was active because he was singing, he did performances. So, what is it that causes heart attack? Might be a long thing, but looking at this particular scenario, is it very unusual or it happens, and what can be done to prevent this?
No, it happens quite often. It happens quite often. This is called, is a heart attack is a kind of subsequent episode, I mean subsequent event, but initial event usually happens is arrhythmias. It means heart starts beating irregular. And because of that, usually they get heart attack, heart stops and they die. Even in America also, there are a lot of people dies instantly because of the arrhythmias. And particularly those who have arrhythmias, they usually cannot do too much of physical strenuous activities. Usually their heart pumping capacity is much less than normal. And therefore, I don't know his real health history, but this is quite possible, and even in USA or in any part of the world, if one of the arrhythmia called ventricular fibrillation, if it happens and if medical care doesn't occur within few minutes, patient can die. So it's not unusual. I don't see any other angle to that, and I think if they say that it's a heart attack, then it has to be heart attack was because of arrhythmias.
I see. So, of course, our condolence with the family members of the singer, and we are with Parik Worldwide Media and ITV Gold with you express our prayers for the strength to the family members and his fans. There's another unfortunate thing that has happened, which has come from Punjab. There is political anger somewhere, but what I'm referring to is that we have lost a very promising Punjabi singer, Sidhu Moosewala, and there were thousands of people who with love participated in his cremation, and that brings again the question about how law and order situation and the political leadership, they have some relationship, or they are independent, and is it blame game, or there is actually the new government of Aam Aadmi Party somewhere to be seen as responsible?
Well, I do not know the whole story. So, and now the whole subject is sub judice. So I don't think we can do too much of opinion about it. But it looks like, I mean, from on the surface, it looks like either it could be vendetta politics there, or it could be gang politics. Means there is a lot of drug infestation in the Punjab, and between two gangs, I think what they are blaming is someone who is a chief of another gang who is involved in all the sorts of illegal business, who is not in India, who is in Australia or Canada somewhere. either he's involved or some another master who is in the jail right now in Punjab, he's involved. So we don't know the exact story, but it's very unfortunate because this boy, young fellow singer, was very promising, very well liked, very popular, and we lost at untimely manner. So our heart goes out to him and his family. God bless him and God bless his family.
Yeah. So, Dr. Sahab, now as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, I think we have talked several times about Ukraine situation, and it will be touching nearly 100 days. How do you see? Is there any end in sight?
I don't think there is an end in sight in short time. It will drag on for another year or so, because now it's become kind of war of small thing, in a sense that Russia wants to capture certain part of the Ukraine and make themselves for business or come to the Black Sea very easy. So they are taking over east and south part of the Ukraine. And let's see, because they are not going to go to the capital Kyiv or any other big cities, because it's impossible. And now, longer it drags on, I think Ukraine will be in better position to negotiate, because now Ukraine has even rockets and firearms which they can fire in the Russian side. And if that happens, then Russia has to either decide how far they want to go, because they are also worried about that they don't want to go too far, because if they go by too far, then whole world will be more mad at them. So it will be going on, but at the end it will be a diplomatic solution to this whole problem. Well, dear friends, it's very proud and really privilege and pleasure to see that our country, motherland, India, is growing economically in spite of pandemic, almost above 8%. And that's a great, vibrant growth of the Indian economy. And our Prime Minister has completed 8 years, and he is a really very visionary, very thoughtful, and very great Prime Minister, and I would say best Prime Minister happened to India. And in 8 years, he has done so many things, which is a kind of reforming thing, like monetization, then subsidies to the poor people, then started the healthcare system, which is same as Obamacare, where everyone who has a low income, they get up to 5 lakhs rupees free medical treatment. And now what I heard that for women's empowerment, I think they are going to do all the prenatal, natal means before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy, all the care to families, those who are in the poverty, under poverty line, will get free. And that's a great women's empowerment by our government of India. So I think we have arrived at world stage. We are the world leader, and God bless India, God bless America, God bless our Prime Minister, and God bless Indian American in the USA and outside USA. So we'll see you next time. Till then, goodbye.
Asian Excellence Award ceremony was held at Nassau County's Theodore Roosevelt Executive and Legislature Building in Mineola. Bruce Blackman, Nassau County Executive, participated in it with many dignitaries. And among the recipients of Asian Excellence Award, we talked to Indian Americans. We'll have excerpts of that conversation in this report. Namaste, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I'm so happy to be sitting with Abhi Alisetti. And who is Abhi Alisetti? You will learn about that. But let me quickly mention here we are where he is one of the recipient of Asian American Excellence Award. So excellence goes with Abhi, and how that goes, he's a naturally gifted orator, and that's something I try to share with him. And he has traveled extensively, has been in national debate circuits, and I would request his father also to tell us more about him. But before that, based on the information that I am gathering about him, he also is winner of the prestigious NYU Bickel and Brewer Global Debate Championship. That was in 2012. But later on, he has also completed his Harvard Law School, and then he's also working as an attorney, I believe, and that is a fulfilling legal career. And Abhi, I'm so happy to be sitting with you.
Thank
So,
you. Happy-
congratulations.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you.
And Abhi, as I requested your father, who shares my name, Ashok Ali Setti ji. So, Ashok ji, talk to me about when you figured out that Abhi has his orientation towards oratory skills, and how was his early days?
There's nothing that we spotted. He's like a natural gifted person. Whatever he did everything by himself. He's so independent, and I think his hidden potential was first extracted when he went to Bronx High School of Science. He had this excellent opportunity to be part of the debate team in Bronx High School of Science. His coaches are also excellently supporting him. That's when he got a chance to travel excellently. I mean, all over the U.S.
Let me interrupt here and come to Avi. Avi, as he said, it was like a natural thing for you. So, when we look at oratory, it involves, of course, the use of words. So, were you interested in reading or listening to other speakers? How you figured out that you love being someone who speaks to masses?
I do love reading. I recognize the power that language can have. I think when I was a freshman in high school, I just decided to join the debate team on a whim. They had no tryouts, so everyone made it, which was very helpful, but definitely wasn't something that naturally came. I had to work on it and practice a lot to get better through the years.
So, as a parent, was there any occasion when you wanted to kind of make him understand something, but he was more forceful as far as expressing his version of the situation is concerned? Any thing like that when he was little younger?
No, never. That's never the case. He's always been the master of the house. Whatever he says, it goes without even questioning because we have 100% confidence on his judgment, his thinking. He always thinks straight, his reasoning, logic. There's no way we can beat him with his logic, being an excellent debater. So we understand if he makes a decision, if he makes a call, it's for him to make. And all that we did is we didn't do anything additional. He's always independent. Like when he was doing his Harvard Law in Massachusetts, he was all by himself in a dorm. Occasionally, we used to go once in a month just to say hi, and we miss him. Other than that, he is mostly by himself.
So I come back to you, Avi. He says you are mostly himself. See, whether we are given all the organs as they are with everyone, or we lack. But most of the time, I see, and I would also confess that our mind tells us that, oh, you didn't do this well, oh, you cannot do this. So I think you have very good relationship with your mind. How that came about? Was it natural, or through the books, or somebody who you feel helped you look at the totality of your potential?
I'm not sure exactly what does. I think reading helps, and I think my dad was being a little humble before when he said they don't do much. First of all, they're an incredible support system, and I really definitely wouldn't be able to do what I did without them. So I think that plays a large part, just your upbringing. But yeah.
And what do you consider are the important qualities that help an orator become good at his art, if I use art word with oratory?
I think a big part of it is clarity of thinking. I think a large underappreciated part is also listening. I think speaking is a lot about listening and responding to what the other person is telling you. So I think actually debate and generally my studies have told me being a better listener makes you a better speaker generally.
Now, looking at your experience of having traveled and addressed audience in different settings, different cities, what kind of topics were there those days when you were in that debate circuit?
Oh yeah, there were a lot of different topics. We tried to cover a diversity of arguments. There was death penalty, for instance, plea bargaining, whether nations should own nuclear weapons. So there were generally broad philosophical questions rather than policy related questions.
And as we are Indian Americans, so was there any thing that made you feel that you were kind of seen differently due to your skin color, or because of a cultural background? Was there anything that you felt made you feel different?
No, I think that's largely because I grew up in New York City, and the debate circuit is very progressive. New York City is very progressive, so I largely didn't have to face those kinds of issues. But I've heard stories in other states down south, for instance, where my friends have to deal with just microaggressions on a daily basis, and being seen differently. Yeah.
So, Avi, as your father is with us, and we are very near Father's Day also, Ashokji, when he was looking at the options that were available for him as career, how he zeroed down on legal side.
See, I think uh, opting for a law course is a logical extension of his being a accomplished debater. I think that's just an extension. And honestly speaking, his career choice, we are not really too much deep into that. And you don't believe me that until the day he got a call from the dean of the Harvard Law School, we didn't even know that he applied for law. We didn't even know that he applied for law. He's all by himself. That's what I keep telling. And yeah, he spotted the talent himself. Like I always emphasize, he's a go-getter right from the day one, and he made it.
I'm so happy that you made it. And Avi, now let us seek help from you. Share the secret how one sustains the spirit of, as your father used the term, go-getter. Because many times you give up, or you don't have the ability to sustain motivation to do things, etc. And you also have a sense of calmness on your face, a sense of self-assuredness. And does that have something to do with your interest in the spiritual side of life?
I think again, I don't know if there's a secret recipe to this, but I think it's just a lot of it is just upbringing, having parents that sort of love you unconditionally, and knowing that you can't. There's always a safe space for you. I think it lets you take risks that you otherwise wouldn't take, and lets you follow your dreams. So I think a lot of it is that. Yeah.
And how was the process of getting through the admission for Harvard Law School? And that is quite a prestigious institute, of course. And as I heard from your father, you didn't feel the need to share the process or the steps of the ladders that you were climbing. That also is unusual. I mean, mostly people feel like sharing, oh, I'm doing this, they get excited. What is your inner system on that?
Well, I figured if I got in, I would tell them. I,
When he got the admission, I didn't see any excitement. We were like climbing through the roof. When he mentioned that, he was like, okay, big deal. It's a Harvard Law School. I'll go and get the law degree. Otherwise, he got acceptance from Columbia and NYU Law School and all that. He didn't think that he accomplished something great and be so much proud about that achievement. He just thinks it's just another admission. That's how he takes it. And that said, there is an excellent philosopher inside him. I think his academic background in philosophy from NYU that could have helped him. I don't know, but there's an excellent hidden philosopher in himself.
Let us request that hidden philosopher to manifest his presence in you, Avi. And as he rightly said, I mean, I would also, even as I read about you, I was ecstatic, and I'm kind of more excited than you were when you got admitted to Harvard, looks like. So, what prevents you from getting excited?
no, I get excited. I just maybe don't show it outwardly all the time. Yeah.
So that requires a lot of practice. But let's go to Harvard Law School. And how was that experience? And anything that you recollect in terms of your interaction with any of your professor or?
Yeah, it was a great experience. It was a great 3 years. It was my first time living by myself, so that was also an experience. Yeah, I formed really close relationships with a lot of professors. Actually, I ended up helping a professor with his research over the summer and him publishing a book. So it's good to I still keep in touch with him. It's good to form these relationships with professors, and I think Harvard Law School definitely gives you the opportunities for that.
Vishwa Umiya Dham Foundation has many projects that are service oriented, and these projects range from building of temple to medical mobile van, a matrimonial assistant to social service center, and a new project which is the focus of Vishwa Umiya Foundation is Umiya Dham Temple in Ahmedabad. Here we have some excerpts from a program organized by Umiya Dham.
And on the second level, we will have a big hall similar to that, but we will have a lot of partitions in that, like, so we can divide into like 250, 300 people into each different groups. We will have even classrooms or for the kids also, like, right, to learn music, like, our language and all those classes. So this is like almost like a section of the thing. So like the first hall will have almost 16 feet of vertical clearance, like so 16 feet floor height. The second hall will have a 10 feet of the thing. And we'll do the facade and all that outside renovation also. So it really look like the temple right now. A lot of people passing by Oaktree Road, but they don't realize that there is a temple right next to you, right? Unless you see the big board.
We are creating a ninth wonder of the world, a temple of Jagatjanni Ma Umiya of 504 feet high, and its circumference is 414 feet. This temple will come up at the cost of 800 crores, and it is getting built in 100 acres of land in Ahmedabad. With the temple, we are also creating paramedical and medical facilities, a skill university, a competitive sports complex, and free food for those who are visiting the temple. With this, we are also making a world level of organization of patidars. By uniting patidars of all over the world, we are bringing them on a single platform, and by this, all patidars will get together and they will increase their social and economic relations. This temple will account for more than 25,000 pilgrims every day.
I am also Vice President of Umiadham Temple, Edison, New Jersey. On behalf of Vishwa Umya Foundations, we had event today at the temple. Approximately 250 people attended the event. And thanks to Deepak Bhai and Rupesh Bhai, who came all the way from Ahmedabad, and they spent almost 1 month in United States, traveling all different states, and they travel almost 15 plus states in United States and send the message of Vishwa Umya Foundations to all the states where we have existing Umyadham temples. As Deepak Bhai mentioned about this Vishwa Umya Dham is a concept that we like to gather all the Kadwa Patidar onto the same platform, make it united so that we can take the advantage of socially, economically, and the business point of view. All the Kadwa Patidars can stay together and grow together.
As Mahendra Bhai and Deepak Bhai said, they are here and spending more than a month to various states to unite all patidars in different states. Deepak Bhai has formatted 14 chapters, 16 chapters 2 years ago. And in addition, on top, they have format 4 more chapters in this trip. That Vishwa Umya Foundation goal to unite all patidars globally in one platform and providing social service, not only social, but education, health, women empowerment, and many other services they are doing. As our Vice President Deepak Bhai said, this temple is just not temple. This is a 9th wonder of the world they are building. And approximately in US dollar, there is close to $200 million project that's including land they are building in India. Also, Vishwa Umya Foundation has chapters in Canada, and upcoming times they're going to have globally many other countries. So in a few years, this organization will be everywhere in the world. Thank you.
વિશ્વ ઉમિયા ધામ અમદાવાદના વાઇસ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ દીપકભાઈ, ખજાનચી રૂપેશભાઈ અને ચેપ્ટર ચેરમેન મહેન્દ્રભાઈ અને યુથ ચેપ્ટર ચેરમેન દિનેશભાઈ આ બધા અહીં આવ્યા છે. એમનું ઉમિયાધામ એડિશન ખૂબ ખૂબ સ્વાગત કરે છે. અને ઉમિયાધામ તરફથી હું એક પ્રોમિસ આપીશ કે ઉમિયાધામ એડિશન વિશ્વ ઉમિયા ફાઉન્ડેશનના પડખે આજે નહીં અને કાયમ માટે પણ રહેશે. થેન્ક યુ. જય માતાજી.
My name is Harshad Patel, Vice President for Umya Temple. Thank you for Deepak Bhai and Rupesh Bhai coming India to here. અને એમને છેલ્લા 1 મહિનાથી જે જહેમત ઉઠાવી છે, દરેક અમેરિકાના સ્ટેટમાં ફરીને બધા કડવા પાટીદાર, બધા પટેલોનો મળીને જે સમૂહનું જે ગંઠન કરી રહ્યા છે એ ખરેખર યોગદાનપૂર્વક છે. જે ટાઈમ આપી ના શકે પણ એ પૂરેપૂરો ટાઈમ આપ્યો છે અને વિશ્વનું આઈ થિંક ઊંચામાં ઊંચું મોટું મંદિર બનાવી રહ્યા છે. તે માટે આ બધા આપણે બધા એમને આભારી છીએ. થેન્ક યુ અને જય ઉમિયા. અને સુધીરભાઈ ડૉક્ટર, થેન્ક યુ સો મચ. યુ સેન્ડિંગ એવરી ટાઈમ ટુ મીડિયા હિયર.
Rick Mehta is a member of Republic Party and he's running for election to the US House to represent New Jersey's 6th Congressional District. The election of Republic primary takes place on 7th June. Sam Revell is a candidate running for Middlesex County Commissioner. And what these candidates are offering for their potential voters. Here are some excerpts from conversation with them.
34 years in politics is too long. He's building a career in politics, but something dynamic has happened right here in New Jersey. In this district, in the 6th district, we have the highest concentration of Indian Americans than any congressional district in the entire country. And Frank Pallone is a nice guy, but he's become irrelevant when it comes to the needs of the people. And I'll tell you, Rick Mehta knows how to represent this community that I've been involved in for so many years. My father-in-law building businesses. In fact, when my parents came here, and my father immigrated here with only $100 in his pocket from India, we had to work hard. And our story is much like everyone in New Jersey. It's about hard work and humble beginnings, and the belief that the American dream is available to anyone willing to chase it. I have chased it, Nidhi, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to chase it until I become your next congressman here in the 6th district.
So my thing is, I'm running for the county commissioner for the Middlesex County, and there are 25 municipalities in the Middlesex County, and I can see that there are lots of administrative work and lots of administrative people are there to work there. There are excess of that things, and that's what I am thinking, that being a county commissioner, we have to divide the work according to our staff, but not according to the people. So what I am thinking, that minimum staff with maximum work, which we are thinking for giving to the government, and that is how can we achieve this one? We can achieve with the public and government participations. On that ground, I am running for the county commissioners to minimize the government expenses with the maximize the efforts which we are doing right now. So that's what our party is doing right now.
I had the distinct pleasure of running with President Trump. Between 2016 and 2020, we had a thriving economy. We had low gas prices. We had the lowest unemployment rate among Black and brown Americans in the entire country. We had a thriving economy. Entrepreneurs were flourishing. No supply chain shortages, a powerful workforce, and we were the dominant force as a global leader for America. So, I would welcome President Trump's endorsement. He has not endorsed me yet to be seen. We still have a couple weeks till June 7th, but running with President Trump was the greatest honor of my life. And I got to tell you, like I said, one thing we're doing, and the reason why Sam and I are running on the America First platform, is because we believe that America is the greatest country. But in order for America to continue to be the greatest country for democracy and for our American dream, we need authentic leaders, not leaders that are going to build their career in politics, much like Frank Pallone. We need people who are going to go there, roll up their sleeves, do their job, and then get out. And that's exactly what I plan to do.
In heavily democratic county, we can win if we give the right efforts. Because here, that since last 30 years, the Democrats are there in the power in the New Jersey. And people are immigrants. They don't think that this is they are thinking that this Democratic Party is the right party for them. But actually, they don't think about the ideology on the Democratic Party, because Democratic Party are always centralized themselves, not to the public. And that's what I am thinking, that if we come into the power as a commissioner and as any other positions, we need to rectify these things in the New Jersey area, because there are so many things which we need to improve while the current administrations are not doing their job. And that's why we are trying for our community.
Anup Bhargava is a computer professional, but he's known as a poet also. He loves Hindi. He has been at the forefront in spreading awareness about use of Hindi in the digital world. And now he has come up with another passionate project, which is Hindi Se Pyar Hai. What is he doing with it? We learned from him. And also he talked about the upcoming monthly magazine in collaboration with the Indian consulate. Here are some excerpts from a conversation with Anup.
अच्छा, इसके लिए तो मैं तैयार नहीं था अशोक जी, लेकिन
बिना तैयारी के जो
लेकिन आपने जो बात की है मेरे तकनीकी से जुड़े होने की और कविता से भी जुड़े होने की, तो क्यों ना एक गूगल पे कविता सुनाई जाए।
बिल्कुल स्वागत है।
तो मैंने ये अभी ताज़ा 2-3 कविताएं मैंने लिखी हैं, छोटी छोटी प्यारी प्यारी सी।
क्या बात।
तो मेरी पहली कविता देखिए कि सुनो, क्या तुम्हारा नाम गूगल है?
सुनो, क्या तुम्हारा नाम गूगल है?
क्या तुम्हारा नाम गूगल है? क्योंकि मैं जिन भी कठिन प्रश्नों को पूछना चाहता हूं, उन सब का उत्तर तुम्हारे पास है।
क्या बात, क्या बात। अब मैं
एक
आपकी बात से प्रेरित होकर सोच रहा हूँ कि हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ी में जब वो प्यार से एक दूसरे को पुकारने के लिए डार्लिंग कहते हैं, तो गूगल डार्लिंग कहने लग जाएंगे।
तो एक और देखिए
जी,
कि मेरा प्रश्न पूरा करने से पहले ही 3 सुझाव और 5 उत्तर, तुम ना सचमुच में गूगल हो।
क्या बात।
और एक अंतिम जो है, जो मुझे सबसे प्यारी है, वो ये है कि सुनो गूगल, जानता हूं दुनिया भर की किताबें पढ़ ली हैं तुमने, दुनिया भर की किताबें पढ़ ली हैं तुमने, हर सवाल का जवाब है तुम्हारे पास, तो फिर बताओ वो मेरे बारे में क्या सोचती है।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है। बहुत ही अच्छी कविता है आपकी, तीनों ही कविताएं। और इससे मुझे ये भी याद आता है कि एक ज़माना था जब हम देखते थे कि कवि चांद पर कविताएं लिखते थे, अब ये गूगल पर लिखने लग गए हैं। पर समय के साथ में एक विस्तार तक पहुंचने में जिस तरह से कवि की दृष्टि हमारी मदद करती है, उसमें भाषा का निश्चित रूप से आधार भी होता है और उसकी आत्मा भी भाषा के साथ जुड़ी है। तो आप बताइए, हिंदी भाषा की क्या विशेषता अनूप भार्गव को लगती है कि वो हिंदी से प्यार है नाम का एक समूह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर
जी
जागृत कर देता है?
तो नहीं, शुरुआत तो हिंदी से प्यार है से ही होती है कि हिंदी से प्यार है। तो यहाँ पे जो हमने एक बात, जब इस संस्था को बना रहे थे, तो हमने एक बात बड़ी स्पष्ट रखी। पहली बात तो ये कि इसका हमने कोई बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा नाम नहीं रखा कि संस्थान या केंद्र या जो बड़े बड़े नाम होते हैं अक्सर संस्थाओं के। दूसरी बात जो हमने इसमें यहाँ स्पष्ट की कि हमसे जुड़ने के लिए आपको सिर्फ हिंदी से प्यार होना चाहिए, हिंदी का विद्वान होना जरूरी नहीं है। अगर आप हिंदी के विद्वान हैं तो अच्छी बात है, हम उसका फ़ायदा उठाएंगे। लेकिन हमारा ये मानना है कि अगर आपको सिर्फ हिंदी से प्यार है और आप हमसे जुड़ते हैं, तो हम ज़रूर आपको किसी ना किसी रचनात्मक काम में लगाएंगे जिससे कि हिंदी का फ़ायदा होगा।
And now time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia as a community, but time also to recollect. You can always enjoy some of our programming on our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. ITV Gold's YouTube channel has a treasure of archives as well as fresh programs added on a regular basis. Keep writing to us, events@itvgold.com. Stay safe, stay well. Thanks for being a part of Vision of Asia Voice of the Community. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.